Hello beautiful people, how's it going? I'm back with another video, and here is my non-spoiler review of Han Solo and the Dial of Destiny. Back when my channel first started to get big, I decided that I was going to watch all of the Indiana Jones movies for the first time. They came right after Star Wars, and I loved all 9 of those movies. I don't include Solo because I didn't enjoy it, and I will be honest, Indiana Jones wasn't my favorite, and I was very open about that. I really liked Harrison Ford as Indiana Jones, but those movies didn't really stick with me the way that, for example, Star Wars, Jurassic Park, Scream, Back to the Future, The Dark Knight, those movies all shaped my personality for a certain period of time, and Indiana Jones didn't do that. And then I reacted to The Kingdom of the Crystal Skull, but I hated that movie, and so did everybody else in the world. So going into The Dial of Destiny, I had absolutely zero expectations, and I'm gonna be honest with you, I was going in so I could review it for you guys. I guess if my channel didn't exist, I wouldn't have went to see this movie. And I think that's why I loved it so much. Words cannot describe the amount of fun, pure fun, that I had watching this film. And I would just like to say, first of all, Harrison Ford as Indiana Jones has still got it. I love that man so much. Despite the fact that him and Carrie Fisher had an affair when he was married on the set of Star Wars. Yep, disgusting behavior. Do not condone it whatsoever. As an actor, he is absolutely phenomenal in this role as Indiana Jones. And he has aged so much. And the movie doesn't shy away from that. And I think that's one of the aspects that I loved so much about it. Indiana Jones has been through a lot in his life, and I'm not going to spoil anything because this movie is really, really good at surprising you. He's been through a lot in his life. He's aged up. He can't necessarily do all of the stunts and tricks that he's been doing in the first 3 films, and it ages so well. Just like Indiana ages so well, the movie ages so well with you. And it's really interesting to see a protagonist be put in that kind of situation where, while it may be controversial for some audience members who maybe grew up with Indiana Jones, which I didn't, they may feel that their hero is being tainted. But because I didn't have that connection, I thought it was really interesting and, quite honestly with you guys, brutally truthful about what living a life is like. You're older now. You can still go on adventures, but you may not be the strongest person in the room, and that's okay. And I really enjoyed that aspect of the film. Another reason that I absolutely adored this movie was because of just how beautiful every single shot of the film is. James Mangold, the director, wow. Honestly, wow. I think he did Logan, which is a 10 out of 10 movie on its own. But man, this movie was visually stunning. For a movie made in 2023, with all of the stuff we've been getting so far other than Avatar: The Way of the Water, for me, the CGI in this movie is absolutely stunning. And I have to give them props for the de-aging that they did in this movie with Harrison Ford. You guys saw the trailer, so this isn't really a spoiler. There are scenes with a de-aged Harrison Ford in the film. And if you think that those are just fleeting moments, no, I counted. The entire first 20 minutes of the film is a prologue with a young Indiana Jones. And that kind of gives you everything that you need from the Indiana Jones movies that you missed. But my goodness, was the CGI on his de-aging so good. I mean, George Lucas and Lucasfilm, I know Lucasfilm isn't associated with George anymore. I don't know why I said that. They're so good at de-aging. I mean, Carrie Fisher in Rogue One, loved it. Luke in the Book of Boba Fett, loved it. They're doing it so well. And now Harrison Ford, I am begging you guys, bring back Han Solo in Star Wars, because you can do it. Because I was watching those scenes going, wow, look, it's Han. I missed him so much, even though I know they are 2 completely different characters. But my goodness, was the CGI so amazing. And just the cinematography as a whole, all of the scenes, even after that prologue, were just shot so well, and the action sequences were so riveting and gripping. It was beyond fun. Another standout that I must mention is the king himself, John Williams. What a legend. That score, every 5 minutes, they would give you that classic dun 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 dun, and I would just rise up from my seat and just in such excitement, even though I have no emotional attachment to these films. I just know how much it means to so many people, and it was done so well in this film without feeling like it was pandering on the past and baiting you with nostalgia. It wasn't. The score was done really well, and it only gave you that da-da-da-da when it was earned and something really cool happened. And I just thought that was absolutely brilliant. I would also wholeheartedly like to mention my Grindelwald, Mads Mikkelsen. Don't worry, I love Johnny Depp so much. I just liked Mads Mikkelsen as Grindelwald a bit better because I felt like he was more menacing, which is exactly what he did here. You guys know, Mads Mikkelsen loves to play a villain, and he's very good at playing a villain. And quite honestly, I've never seen Hannibal, but I know why he was cast as Hannibal. Because my goodness, this guy is such a good menace to society. His motives in this movie are possibly my favorite aspect of the film. And I can't spoil it, and I don't want to spoil it. But my favorite subgenre, my subgenre trope is used in this movie, and it made me very, very happy. As soon as his motives were revealed, the movie just escalated. And it was already so good to begin with. I just absolutely adored it. And again, I don't want to spoil because I really want you guys to go into it as empty as I did, because that's why I guess I loved it as much as I did. I really thought it was excellent. In terms of other characters that I feel obligated to talk about, Phoebe Waller-Bridge plays Indiana Jones's goddaughter. And again, I don't really want to get into it a lot because her character does essentially contain a lot of spoilers and a couple of retcons that I would imagine, because her father is a character that we had never heard of before, and the movie wants you to believe that he was always kind of there, you just never heard of him. Phoebe's character did nothing for me. It didn't enhance my experience, and it didn't ruin it either. I was just completely fine with her character. She didn't offend me. She didn't annoy me. I just thought she existed, and I think that's how it was supposed to be. And so I am inclined to wonder why people are so mad about her character. If you guys watch the movie and have an opinion, please let me know in the comments. I'd love to know, but I didn't really understand why everybody was so pressed about it. And of course, one other thing that I do feel obligated to talk about are some of the references that are used in this movie to remind you of simpler times in your lives. I really, really enjoyed every single one of them. Every single one, and I'm not going to spoil any of them, but every reference that was done so well. To the point where there was one reference at the end of the film. Not going to mention it, but there is a reference at the end of the film. I've only seen Indiana Jones once. All four of them. I've only seen them once. I didn't remember a single thing that's very specific about those films. But as soon as they referenced that thing, it came back to me. And that, to me, blew my mind. It just blew my mind, and I thought it was done very well. It made me very emotional. It made me tear up, and the movie ended at a point that made me so happy. I really thought that they were going to end the movie in a certain way, and they didn't. They gave you a really, really nice wrap-up that, honestly, for me as a viewer, even though I don't really feel entitled to say this because I was never really connected with Indiana Jones, I think they wrapped it up really well for me personally. I thought that ending worked really well. And again, the ending is what you leave the film with. And so I felt really amazing. But that, again, doesn't detract from how good this movie is from start to finish. I swear on my life. Wow. Overall, this is a 9 out of 10 movie for me. I'm not going to compare it to the other Indiana Jones movies because I think it's not a fair statement for me to compare. I would have to go back and watch them again. But this movie made me a fan. And I know that I should have been a fan when I reacted to those original movies, but they just didn't hit me the same. Just like the original Star Wars trilogy, 4, 5, and 6, didn't hit me as soon as I watched them. It was only when I rewatched them that I started to appreciate them a lot more. And now I'm excited to do that with Indiana Jones because this fifth film really made me a fan. So as I said, I would like to give this film a 9 out of 10, and the only reason it's not a 10, and I really mean this, the only reason is that I feel like this film could have been 15 minutes shorter and it would have benefited. There was one moment where I checked my phone to see the time, and I'm not sure if it was because I was in a rush, I'm not really sure, but I did check for the time. And the only other time that I did that in a movie this year was Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumania, which leads me to believe that this movie could have been a bit shorter. And honestly, I do think it could have been a bit shorter. I think there was a scene that I can pinpoint, but again, I don't want to spoil, that I think could have been completely taken out and nothing would have happened to the plot. But other than that, I really think James Mangold is a great director. I think Harrison Ford has still got it. Despite how I feel about his moral compass in real life, I do think he is an absolutely phenomenal actor, and, you know, he is my Han Solo. I still will never look at him the same after that whole Carrie Fisher and him thing that I didn't know about, and then I found out about it, and then that even tainted their character's relationship in Star Wars for me. I just think infidelity is the worst thing that you could do to someone, and it's quite frankly disgusting. Anyways, why am I ending it on such a bummer note? This movie is great, please go watch it. It is such a good film. I had such a good time. If you want to enjoy it, just go in with the lowest expectations ever. Because that's what I did. I mean, I didn't actually have low expectations. I just didn't care. Do that. If you love yourself, just go into this movie to watch an Indiana Jones movie that's really fun. I just loved it. I love you guys. Thank you guys for giving me the platform to introduce myself to new things. Harry Potter was my whole life, and it still is my favorite piece of entertainment of all time. But because of you guys, I branched out and I became fans of things that I can now go to the movies and experience, whereas I never would have done it before because I was just too in my Wizarding World bubble. Not that I didn't watch movies, of course. I watched all the Marvel movies, and my dad showed me a couple of dramas that he loves, but now I'm a much more well-rounded person thanks to you guys. So thank you guys for that. I really appreciate it. And if you guys are still here all these years later since I reacted to those Indiana Jones movies, thank you so much. I swear to God, you guys mean the world to me. You're the reason I'm still doing this. I love you all so much, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye, guys. What a film.